Hello, everybody, and welcome to Curtis's Podcast Network. I'm Curtis, the host of the channel, and this is We Are Texans Wednesday, number 17, live right here on the channel. Folks, I want to go ahead and get you to go ahead and like and subscribe and comment throughout the video with anything that, strikes your fancy. We're at 3:56 at the time of this broadcast, and got a little bit of a late start on this one. I laid down to take a little bit of a cat nap, and then here we are. So, for those who don't know, I don't know how you wouldn't know, but DeAndre Hopkins, former Houston Texan, is now a Tennessee Titan. So I figured we might actually have a little bit of a conversation about maybe how exactly um, DeAndre Hopkins is going to have to be handled by our defense or most defenses because he is such an elite tier wide receiver. Um, to start off, he's probably going to be shadowed almost exclusively by Derek Stingley, somebody who's probably got a step on him athletically, maybe two. Um, I don't know that he can jump out the gym like DeAndre can, but we're going to have to see. Uh, um, Everybody always talks about how big DeAndre Hopkins' hands are. It's like, almost 11 inches or something. My hands are the exact same size. So, well, all I'm saying is I could be, the target. Just throw me like a vacuum over here, just sucking it up into the hand. Um, does this actually make the Titans better though? Because they're talking about how they're going to bring in George Fant, and that really there's just a lot of window dressing going on for the Titans. Like they've got one guy and then nobody in a couple rooms. It's DeAndre Hopkins and then unknowns in the wide receiver room. Um, Potentially Ben Jones in the offensive line room, potentially George Fant in the offensive line room. And then, Peter Skoronski, I can't call him a nobody. He's just unproven. So that's not quite fair. But how do we stack up against, Jacksonville, Tennessee, and Indianapolis? While I think our starters are able to give any team in the AFC South's starters a good run, I think what we're going to run into is a lack of depth at most spots. And that's really not good for us, considering we needed all of the depth. So beyond D Hop, I don't think the Titans. I really don't think there's a threat in the division other than the Jaguars. The Jaguars seem to be the most complete team in the South, and the Texans are on the upswing, where we were the bottom of the entire NFL, and now we're not. We've actually got some, um, some question marks, I should say, for rookies. And we've got some dudes that we hope can come in here and absolutely smash it when they get ready to, come in and start for this team. Kenyon Green, somebody who the Texans have been um, hoping was going to take a step forward, has gone and done some arthroscopic knee surgery, I believe. So he may not even be available week one. Maybe he will be, maybe he won't. There's a lot to unpack there. Because if he doesn't play, you got Jarrett Patterson, Charlie Heck, Austin Deculus, Michael Dieter, who's been starting in place of him throughout camp. And a lot of people have been, John Harris said that Michael Dieter has been impressing, the former Dolphins center and guard. So we've got some flexibility when it comes to those things, but Kenyon Green not being there is going to hurt. If I'm not mistaken, he was also hurt last year coming into camp, and that set him back. He wasn't able. I don't think he started week one. I think he kind of worked his way into the fold after McCray was blown up a couple different times week one. Um, I'm really just hoping that Houston can come out and take steps. I've talked all offseason about how this realistic ceiling for the Texans is about 7 wins. And I feel like that is completely accurate. But the floor is 2. Maybe some of these rookies don't actually impress all that well. Maybe some of these vets, there's a reason that they were cut. So we'll be seeing how this all goes down. But there's a lot that the Texans need to improve on. I would say, as much, if not more, in Tennessee that the Titans need to improve on. The Colts have a good nucleus. It's just a matter of getting the most out of their quarterback, re-signing Jonathan Taylor, and hoping that any of the wide receivers that they've got can take a step in filling shoes in for, honestly, the number 1 and number 2 wide receiver spot that they haven't really had filled since T.Y. Hilton. And that you can tell that that's hurting them. I think that there's a fair amount of hope within the Texans community, and I love seeing hope. There's some people that think that either this year or next year we're fighting for the division championship. Um, I don't know about that. With teams like this, it usually takes a little bit of time. There's also a bunch of 1-year deals. Some of our bigger name players are on 1-year deals. Dalton Schultz, 1-year deal, $8 million. Devin Singletary, 1-year deal, like $4 million. Sheldon Rankins, 1 million deal or 1 year deal, I think like $9 million. So I mean, even if we go out here and succeed, we're still gonna have to re-sign these dudes if they go out there and ball the hell out. I think Denzel Perryman's a 1-year deal. So I mean, while these are definitely improvements over what we've had, they're 1-year deals. They're band-aid fixes. And I don't think that all these dudes are going to come back, even if they do stellar. So we're going to have positions to fix that this season are not positions to fix. They're going to have to be done in the offseason. They're going to have to be done through the draft and free agency. And I think that there's a really solid chance that the um, I think there's a really solid chance that this team can um, find its footing, find the inner metal, and start balling the hell out. With all the young dudes, we play the 4th easiest schedule or something like that. So there's a lot of like potential here. It's just a matter of if our team can play as a unit. Um, and I don't know that we can at the moment. I don't know that we can't, but it's going to take time. This unit is going to have to gel on and off the field. Training camp's coming around the corner. So if you're in the Houston area, try to go. I'm going to try. I live in Nashville, Tennessee, or in the suburb of Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm going to try to go to Titans minicamp. I'm going to try to interview players and such. So try to go. Try to go. Camp looks like a lot of fun. I can't imagine that the players are, the most talkative in the world after those things. But I'm hoping I can get, Chris Moore, or it'd be kind of cool to get DeAndre Hopkins to talk to me. Um, There's a lot of cool things that you can get done at training camp, and you should definitely do it. Oh, no, you're right, Duval's finest. The Titans do suck. I'm just explaining what I'm gonna try to do. Um, there's a lot. Hey, Duval's finest, you gonna try to go to Jags camp? I know that would be a drive and a half for you. Let me know. Um, so with everything, he says maybe next year. I respect that. I respect that. He's a busy man. He's a busy man. There's a good chance that some of these guys on this team will not be here next year. Like I was saying, we don't have 2 first-round draft picks next year. I believe we have every other round except for that. Except for, I guess we have every other round because we got one first. It's just the Cleveland Browns first. So the pinnacle year, the ideal year for the Houston Texans, if you're just basing it off the trade on draft day, they got to be better than the Cleveland Browns so that the Arizona Cardinals don't have 2 top 3 first round draft picks. Is that super likely? No, not really. Do they have the potential to do it? Yeah, absolutely. I think that there's a substantial amount of um, big running backs in our backfield. Big running backs in a literal sense, not necessarily like big time guys. I think Damian Pierce and Devin Singletary are going to be a force to be reckoned with if the offensive line can stay healthy and if they can gel as a unit. Those 2 guys are going to be interchangeable. What up, TF? How you doing? Hey, Duval's finest. It was it was TF's birthday the other day. Be sure to wish him happy birthday. Um, I guess this is where we find out that TF is like 1,000 years old or something, and like has like the best skincare regimen on the planet. Um, that's why he's so wise. It's like a karate teacher or um, a gym coach or something. Um, there's an absolute God. What's the word I'm looking for here? There's a lot of issues with a lot of these different teams in the South, and the Jags are going to have to, I guess, be okay. Or I guess a lot of the fans in the South are going to have to be okay with the Jags running the South for a little bit until the rest of us can keep up pace. The Jags this season, in the offseason, we're not drafting necessarily for starters every single round, whereas we were drafting for guys who could be rotational players or starters. Not saying that none of the guys that the Jags drafted are going to be rotational or starters, just that it wasn't hugely necessary or exclude like the most important thing in the world for them to draft um, Antonio Johnson out of Texas or um, uh, uh, Tank Bigsby out of Auburn. They already have 2 decent running backs, and now they've added a third, and that's a position that you want to be in. That's how you recognize a well-run organization, and somebody in that room is trying to set the Jags up for long-term success. I think the Texans are doing the same thing, but I think they're approaching it in a different way. I think they're trying to do one-year deals to kind of fill the void until they find the next guy at each spot. It's just going to take a lot longer. Um, trying to think here. I'm trying to get some guests on here. Cody Stutes, formerly of ESPN in Houston, trying to get him on. I'd love to get Drew Doherty on for the host of Texans TV. Um, he's he's a channel vet. He's been here a few times, and Cody Stutes, this will be his second occasion. I'd like to get the rest of the guys at the wheelhouse to come back. I haven't really talked to a lot of them this off season because I've been busy with my own in my own life. but the guests will be returning soon. I'm also working on an intro for this AFC South show, which will hopefully debut week 1 of the regular season. It reminds me, I got to send some emails with some vector files. We're gonna have some interesting things going on here. Trying to constantly improve the show. So if you got any ideas, hit me in the comment section. Let's see. God. I wonder what receivers will actually make the final cut in this roster. Robert Woods, John Mechie, Nico Collins. Oh God, why am I blanking? Amari Rogers, some other folks. There's a lot of young dudes on this roster that need chances. Xavier Hutchinson's a rookie. John Mechie's essentially still a rookie. They got Steve Sims. They brought in Noah Brown. I don't know which one of these guys is going to actually make the roster or get cut. Tank Dell has looked amazing in camp. I imagine they're going to try to use him in punt kick return. However, that's entirely what Steve Sims does. So I imagine that's going to be a camp battle. And also, if you don't remember, what's good, Volcano? If you don't recall, this preseason will be the first preseason where all of the players have to be cut after week 3. So during the bye week before the start of the regular season, that's where rosters will trim down from 90 to 53. In the past, it's been each week there's been cuts, and this year we're going to be seeing something a little different. I think that means that a lot of these dudes are going to get an extended look. I think that means that a lot of these dudes are going to have the best chance they've had to make the roster anywhere. And I think this means that there'll be a lot of fireworks that week. I think there'll be trades and surprise cuts, all sorts of stuff. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be a very special preseason. I can feel it. Trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to talk about this evening. I mean, not particularly, honestly. Let's do a little bit of Would You Rather. All right. Would you rather would you rather would you rather be killed by one of these two mythical beasts? The El Chupacabra or Loch Ness monster? I'm not even sure what an El Chupacabra is supposed to look like, but the Loch Ness monster looks like a dinosaur, like a sea-bearing dinosaur, seafaring dinosaur. So I feel like that would be terrifying. El Chupacabra is just going to look like a big hairy dude. Nessie, all right. Is it why Nessie, Duval's finest? While he's clacking away for the answer there. Let's see. Would you rather because I like aquatic animals, that's right. Almost a marine biologist, this man. He just wants to get killed in the water. Wait, does this mean I can give you a Viking funeral? Because, I'll totally do that if that's in your will. I'm down. I'll make that happen for you. Would you rather the Houston Texans win? Please, my girlfriend says no, but I want it. Hey, Viking funeral, man, that shit's badass. Just be on a giant wooden boat, catch it on fire, and sink to the bottom of the ocean. I respect it. That's literally pageantry right there. It doesn't get much hotter than that, in the words of Paris Hilton. Um, all right. Um, would you rather Christian Harris emerge as a sure tackling machine on the outside linebacker position, or would you rather um, Dalton Schultz gets 60 catches and 900 yards, 7 touchdowns? Personally, I'm going Christian Harris. Because at least for the long term, Christian Harris is going to be something who can constantly improve his game and be on the team for a minute. Dalton Schultz on that 1 year deal. Hard no. Hard no. Um, hmm. Let me see. You know what? We'll do one thing before we get out of here. I'm going to rank the AFC's defensive back rooms. All right. If you haven't been here for these, here's how this works. We got S, A, B, C, D, and F tier. And I'll be placing these teams where I believe they belong in these tiers. So let's start off with the AFC North, the Cleveland Browns. Denzel Ward, Juan Thornhill, Greg Newsome. I like B tier for the Browns. For the Cincinnati Bengals, who lost basically every starter and then replaced them with rookies, I'm going to go F tier just because it's mostly unproven or new players, and you never know how they're going to turn out. The Baltimore Ravens, Marlon Humphrey, Kyle Hamilton, Marcus Williams, Trayvon Mullen. They got a couple other younger corners. I'm going to go B tier. Ravens in the B. The Pittsburgh Steelers, Minka Fitzpatrick, Patrick Peterson. Um, they brought in another safety. I can't remember his name right now. Joey Porter Jr. I'm going to say at least a C, but I think I'm going to go B here. And that finishes up the AFC North. Let's go New York Jets now. Sauce Gardner and co. I'm going Jets as a C tier, and only that way because of Sauce. The Buffalo Bills, Tre'Davious White, Poyer, Micah Hyde. That's got to be that's S tier. That's pretty solid right there. The New England Patriots, I'm probably going to put in F tier with Jack Jones, Jonathan Jones, Marcus Jones, the Joneses. That's who we're keeping up with, I guess. And, recently retired Devin McCourty, Kyle Duggar. They got some decent dudes, but they're also way too heavy on the Joneses. The Dolphins, they have an S tier unit with Jalen Ramsey, Xavier Howard, Javon Holland at safety. Pretty solid group. That's S tier for sure. The Kansas City Chiefs lost basically every starter that they've got on defense, with the exception of Justin Reed. Juan Thornhill's gone. I guess they still got Trent McDuffie and L'Jarius Sneed. I'm going to go C tier. That makes sense. I feel like that's fair. The Chargers, that's A tier. Um, Asante Samuel Jr., Derwin James, J.C. Jackson. I mean, those three alone, pretty solid players. The Raiders, Nate Hobbs and Trayvon Moehrig are the big names there. I'm going to follow Blake's lead and put him in the D tier. The Broncos with Patrick Surtain, Justin Simmons, Kareem Jackson, and a couple other younger guys. I'm going to go B or C tier with them. That doesn't feel right. B tier. And then that leaves us the AFC South. Let's start with the fun ones. The Indianapolis Colts. Drafted 3 corners, drafted a safety. Still got Rodney McLeod, I believe that's his name, or Rodney Thomas. I think that's his name. Rodney Thomas, Brents, Kenny Moore. Isaiah Rodgers is famously suspended or infamously suspended. I'm going to put him C tier because I think they got some dudes that could show some stuff. The Jacksonville Jaguars, Cisco, Wingard. What was that kid they drafted in the second round? Duval's finest. Who was your second round draft pick? Yeah. I think they're at least a B tier. So I'm going to put them in B tier. Because Tyson Campbell's got that dog in him, to quote Duval's finest. The Titans, probably C tier feels accurate. And that's mostly because of Kevin Byard. Brenton Strange. Y'all draft a corner? You didn't draft one? Was it just Antonio Johnson? The safety? I know you wanted him real bad. I just couldn't remember. Brenton Strange. Tight end. Okay. And then that leaves us with the Texans. And the Texans, Derek Stingley, Jalen Petrie, Jimmy Ward, Steven Nelson, Shaq Griffin. I feel like C tier all the way because it's mostly just hoping and wishing. So let's give a quick rundown of the list here. S tier, Dolphins, Bills. A tier, Chargers. B tier, Browns, Ravens, Steelers, Broncos, Jags. C tier, Jets, Chiefs, Colts, Titans, Texans. D tier, Raiders. F tier, Bengals, and the Patriots. Yeah, Rayshon Jenkins. Yeah, he's solid. I think they're at least B tier. I think that works for them. I think that's a pretty honest grading there. Folks, I think that's going to do it for the end of this show. I want to thank everybody for watching, hitting the like button. We're at 356 at the time of this broadcast, and subscribers would love to see that number increase. We're trying to get to 1,000 so we can reach monetization. We will be doing more and better before and during the season. We'll be doing a lot of this AFC South show, and we'll also be doing, some of the individual shows like this one during the season before big games, or if our team plays on Thursday Night Football or whatever. So we'll do preview games for the individual teams, and we'll be back with the collaborative efforts on this AFC South show during the season. Working on new intros for that, and hopefully it'll be ready by then. Again, thank you all for watching. Duval's Finest, thank you for being in the chat. Volcano, hope you're doing well. Folks, be good people. Peace.